everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Sarandini and I'm an entrepreneur who has been associated with Inside IM since 2022. This webinar is about how the top people are working for the future of this world using data and AI and how you can learn from them and be a part of this course. So today we are very happy to have Mr. Nitin Aggarwal, the head of Cloud AI Industry Solution Services in India at Google. He is an engineer with an MBA degree in BA and Operations Management from IIT Kanpur. He's also a part-time lecturer at Rutgers. I don't know the pronunciation. We'll check it with Mr. Nitin. And business school teaching about AI and data-driven management. He has worked at Google for almost 7 years, out of which 4 years were in San Francisco. He will share with us his journey and career choices and guide us on the current use of data and AI and what is the future for this. So if you have any questions regarding this, please do write it on the chat box or the live chat, and we'll take those up in the Q&A later at the end of the session. So really great to have you here, Nitin, and want to learn so many things from your experiences.
Thank you so much, Sanani. Thank you so much for having me over here. And yeah, looking forward to learning from your experiences as well.
Yes. So during our conversation before, you said that you were just an ordinary person with a love for tech, got extraordinary opportunities and made good choices to reach wherever you are now. So on that note, let's understand your early ordinary life and how and when your choices molded your future. So can you just tell us something about your childhood before your bachelor's? What kind of aspirations you had during that time?
Absolutely. So, Sunani, I hail from Bhiwani, Haryana. It's like a small town, very small town. Born and brought up over there, went to schooling over there. And after my 10th, I got two options. The first thing is I was always in maths. So I always loved maths. So that was my even today, it's my love. So I want to do my CA, but looks like that, okay, my elder sister actually chose that thing. So I never got that option. And after that, I left with engineering. So I started like with my all those IIT trainings and everything. My parents did like the best. I think even better than the best. They can. I really admire them to raise me and to actually bring me all the platforms. But I have like a lot of financial constraints. So because of like what kind of a coaching that I will join, yeah, I'm not able to crack IIT JEE because of some reasons. So I cracked like the maths exam, but I really faltered very badly in physics. So I went to like a regular tier 3 college. So I will not say that, okay, yes, I went to some of my dream colleges. Some of my friends, like they went to IIT. Some of my friends, they went to like a really good colleges over there. So that again splitted our ways, and like a new people came in my life, and we became friends. So I got my engineering degree. So during that thing, my full focus was that, okay, yes, I want to be technical. But in the last year, a lot of my friends were actually doing preparation for the MBA. I thought that, okay, yes, I should also do that. Coming from the very, what I should say, humble background, and from a small town, I never got like a very good communication skills. So I really lacked badly in English. So I worked a lot on that thing, joined a lot of courses in the British Council, took a lot of communication classes here and there, do a lot many things, learn from my friends as well, he came from a very good background, a very good communication skills. They really taught me a lot. And then I got a campus offer from TCS, but they gave me an offer in Trivandrum. So my parents were not very comfortable sending me over there. So I went through an Elitmus that time. It was a portal where you can go for an exam and then apply for a jobs. I got an offer from Compro Technologies. It's like a small IT company, not a startup, but I will say it's a pretty old company. And that became a turning point of my career, Sunani. So that point of a time, I really learned how to ship a product end to an end. I got some really good friends, really good bosses and managers. And that point of a time, one of my managers, Saurabh said, he introduced me a concept of big data. And I started working on this data field even when I never wanted to. And I thought that, okay, no, I want to write code on C, C++, or Java. I don't want to work on that data. Nobody expected that, okay, this is going to happen. But that was the only work available. So I just started doing it, and I started loving it. So then the point came in that, okay, yes, let's go for my next education, what it's going to be, MTech or MBA. I appeared for both GATE and as well as CAT. Got good percentiles, but again, because of some constraints, I chose IIT Kanpur because it was pretty cheap, very easy, like what I should say, easy to manage the finances, and as well as the return on investment was pretty good. I liked the curriculum.
Fees?
Fees was pretty less. Like in our time, the overall fees was, if I'm not wrong, was around like 80,000. And I got everything, including my hostel, my travel, everything got done in 2.5 lakhs.
So this was
So
which year?
2013, 2013 to 2015. So it was pretty good time. So I made some really good friends. Even they are my very close friends, my best friends right now. All of them are settled. And during like I was working on taking all the courses, again I got inclined with marketing and everything. But then I realized it's not my potential. I cannot sell shampoos and soaps. So I know that like, it's not a bad thing, but it's not my cup of tea. So one of our professor, two of our professor actually. One is Dr. Devlina Chatterjee. Second one is Dr. N.K. Sharma. They introduced me a concept of analytics, statistics, and everything. And then I realized that okay, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. And my love with maths again came into the picture. Then I built my career. Three of my friends, they also into this analytics field. So only three or four of us in the whole batch were only wanted to do analytics. That was such a small strength back in 2013, 2014. People said that, okay, no, this is not the future. But this is what I loved. I never thought that, okay, this is going to be the future. But I always got a hint that, okay, the way it's evolving from my background, this is going to be the future. And then I moved to the analytics. Things started shaping up in 2015 when the company started coming up for the campus placements. And then I realized that, okay, yes, almost 80 to 90% of them are asking people in analytics. So that point of a time, I got the first company that I got into the campus at IIT Kanpur. And yeah, so I think Amazon came first, then Deloitte. But those were the things that I was targeting. I never got it. I got EXL services. Again, I got very lucky that I got EXL services because I got to learn a lot about consulting and everything. And while working there, I got an offer from Google. So that's why I say that okay, yes, I'm not a superstar. I'm not like a super talented person. I just keep getting the things working. It worked out. I got lucky. I got a lot of opportunities. I don't know how I got it, but that's how that it shaped my career. Like not such a plan that okay, yes, I will be doing this 10 years down the line. I see myself over here. I never thought about it. So I just go with the flow, keep doing the things. Yeah, and it happened eventually.
So you said that you fell in love with data. So I want to understand how does anyone fall in love with data?
So yeah, it happened back in 2011, 2012 itself. So I started learning Salesforce, force.com, and I started working with data. That okay, yes, just pure SQL queries, in getting insights from the data, what's missing, what's not missing. And because I always loved maths, I think that okay, this is the one that I really want to do. And that point of a time, I was very active on Top Coder as well. So I used to compete a lot of like these kind of lead coding and coding competitions. That also giving me a lot of edges over there. So then when I went to IIT Kanpur, I started working on these kind of a things. And actually these technical skills started converting into business problems. That, okay, yes, how the stock markets are getting impacted, what kind of things that we can do. I still remember that, okay, we used to conduct a competition. It's happening even these days now, ACCS, that is Analytics Case Study Competition. And that point of a time, we used to call a lot of colleges, all the IIMs, IITs, and then industry experts. We got a case study based on real data. Me and one of my friends, Saurabh Prasad, we actually presented the presentation. And the best comment that we got from the panel that, okay, hey, this is the kind of a work that we want to do in enterprise. Then I realized that, okay, I think I'm good at it. I'm loving it. So why not build my career on that? And I was taking a lot of Coursera courses those days, Coursera and edX. Udemy, Udacity were not present. So Coursera and edX. And I have taken almost all the courses that you name it. I have my certificate in that in analytics and machine learning back in 2014. So it's like that. Okay, I felt that okay, it's made for each other sort of a thing. I whenever I spending time in that particular subject, I never felt bored. So I think that okay, yes, this is a
Great. So moving on, want to understand your Google journey. Obviously, the first question is you said you were chosen by Google, you got in. So want to understand how you even got the opportunity to interview to begin with, and then how was the interview process?
I don't know how I got it actually. Yeah, so I used to apply a lot of companies, Anandani. I think I have very fun journey. So you name it, and I have my account on their careers page. You name the company and you will find my account. I can bet on that. Okay. So I was just doing some analysis. I have applied to 630 companies, unique companies in last 5 years. I was doing all those research, like unique names. I was doing some text mining on my Gmail from the career space, 630 companies, 31, 30. I applied. So Google was definitely like anybody else, my dream company. So I kept applying for Google again and again. I got rejected 2 times. Then I again applied. I got a call that okay, this is a role, and data was intentionally like picking up.
Mhm.
So I think that point of a time, Google was targeting some of those companies like Mu Sigma, EXL, Fractal, because those are the companies who are doing the real analytics work. So then, yeah, then I appeared for the interview. I was appearing for 2 or 3 other interviews as well. I get an offer from another one of the largest consulting company in the world, one of the very prime one. Then I thought that okay, no, I'm not joining Google. And when I went for my interview, I think because of some medical emergency, one interviewer missed the interview. So I used to work in Noida and came to Gurgaon for the interviews. And that time only I went through 2 rounds of interviews, and I missed third one. Then recruiter called me. I said that okay, I think it's okay. Even I don't want to like move forward. But recruiter convinced me that okay, Nitin, let's you do not need to come back to office again. We can schedule it online. So okay, then I appeared for an interview and I got selected. About the interviews, like 3 rounds, Sunandini. First one was primarily about case studies, that how to solve a problem, primarily on problem solving. The skill that I believe that it's core, and I think the most important thing at Google, because Google is about very, what I should say, very mix-up thing. Not a lot of things are very clear. So you need to solve a lot of problems on your own. The second round was more about a little bit on the technical, like a SQL, how to analyze the data, what kind of things that you will be extracting. Third round was primarily on leadership. That yes, how will you solve those problems? Some real life problems like that. Okay, yes, if I'm going to put into this, how will you decide? And fourth one is more like a culture fit. So those kind of 4 rounds of interviews happened, and then I got selected as a data analyst, come data scientist in trust and safety team. So again, that became a turning point of my career. My sister convinced me actually to join Google. That okay, hey, a lot of my friends are Google, they are living their life. I think you should go over there. And I was getting married that time as well. So, and my wife was like, yeah, Google seems like a pretty good option. So, yeah, that's how I joined Google.
Got it. So from there to AI head. So how did you get the promotions? Like how did your role change with all the promotions?
It changed a lot. It changed a lot. So I started working on data analyst or data scientist, or primarily on trust and safety. My work was primarily like working with a team to make our Google environment, Google product safer. Primarily on AdWords. That yes, if we can actually keep the AdWords product safe. That yes, identifying ads that are non-compliant to Google policies. That point of a time, Google Cloud was coming up, and I went to US to learn about TensorFlow. TensorFlow is one of the first framework came in machine learning that solves problem at scale. I started learning TensorFlow back in 2016 when it was just about to launch or not even launched in public. So I became like one of the proficient person in that thing in India, in Google India. And then I started thinking that okay, yes, what next? And I realized that okay, Google Cloud is growing very fast. And that point of a time, I thought that okay, yes, cloud is going to be the future back in 2017. And then I thought that okay, yes, in India we do not have a lot of presence. Then I need to move out. I was not very comfortable moving out to US actually. I never wanted to move out to US. But yeah, it happened. My then manager and now my mentor right now, he supported me. He trusted me a lot, and then yes, he rolled out an offer, and then that's how I landed into a team as an AI consultant or a technical program manager to lead and solve complex problems with our strategic customers. I think that's the turning point, the biggest turning point of my career. The exposure that I got is to working with Fortune 500 companies, really solving complex problems at scale, working and handling and managing CXO level stakeholders, building AI strategy for those kind of large organizations. I think the learning graph was very steep. It was very painful as well, but it was a fun journey.
Can you maybe give us some examples where we can relate to this data and AI?
You can do that, like Sunny, like a lot of problems that we have solved. So the latest problem that we have solved, my colleague and my team actually solved it. It's for CDSS, Clinical Disease and Support System for Apollo. Apollo 247, that's again an Indian customer. So think about that. Okay, yes, if you want to, uh, so just like in India, we do not have a lot of medical facilities available to a lot of people, right? So they cannot go to the doctor, so they go to the chemist or something like that. Or even if you and me as a consumer, if you want to search for that, okay, what's happening to me, most of the times you end up with that, okay, hey, you are getting a cancer at Google, right? So this kind of a system that we solve, that okay, yes, hey, based on your condition, you can type, hey, getting some diarrhea, I'm getting like some sort of an anxiety, I'm getting sweating. It will ask you more questions that okay, yes, are you feeling nauseatic or not? Based on that, it will actually recommend you that okay, yes, whether It's like something serious, you should go into the emergency, or you should to reach out to or contact a physician. These are the recommendations for physicians and so on and so forth. So that's like a one example. But in the problems that me and my team has solved over a period of a time, it's across the industry vertical. You talk about retail, you talk about healthcare, you talk about financial services, manufacturing, media, entertainment, and everything. So one of like I think one of the project that I like, two of the project that I really like. One is like with one of the largest radiology company, and there we processed the 3D lung scans to identify if there are some blood clots appearing on that particular lung scan or not. So it's like a very layman term. It's more about a perfusion, like the disease name was CTEF. That was like one of the primary things. So that yes, radiologists can some support. That yes, you should be actually looking into these things instead of making a decision system. It was more like a support system. And second one was like that. Okay, hey, if we are pushing any hard drives into a data center, and if that hard drive fails, something serious might happen. So you will see that, okay, hey, Google is not working or Google Drive is not working, Gmail crashed. A lot of those challenges can happen because of that hard drive got failed into production. So we need to predict that, okay, yes, if this hard drive has failed today, what's the probability that it will be failing again in next 30 days? So that you can actually prioritize, put some risky drives into less critical operations, and so on and so forth. So it is a very, very interesting use cases. We solve that problem at scale. Millions of hard drives, millions of data, billions of data. So like a really, really complex problems. The impact were like ranging from million to $1 billion. So yeah, that's the exposure that I got. So that's why I got lucky.
Got it. So I have always been intrigued by one thing. How is Google in USA different from Google in India in terms of maybe their vision or the role or the culture?
That's a tricky question. So let me try that. So yeah, a couple of days ago, I was actually looking into one of the cartoon. It was saying that okay, yes, how the mentality in East versus West is different, and I really correlated to that particular cartoon or that particular image. So they're saying that okay, yes, like in US, I will say that okay, it's not about Google US and Google India. I believe that okay, it's more about our cultural differences, and I will not say cultural differences. Each and every culture is a vibrant itself, but thought process is very different. So for an example, over here, like in India, we are not very vocal about what we do. Okay, to showcase ourselves. We think that okay, no, people will think that okay, he or she is bragging, right? But in US, people are very vocal about the things that okay, I'm carrying these capabilities. And I realize that okay, if you're not going to tell anything to anyone, that person has no what I should say is a crystal ball with him or her, so that they will be able to understand what kind of a capabilities that you carry. So that's the one thing. The second thing is about the risk appetite. So in US, I found that okay, the risk appetite is very, very, very high as compared to like in India, primarily in Asia Pacific, because of some obvious reasons for sure, and that's actually impacting our innovative mindset. So we are in. I believe that okay, even I was that in even still then, that yes, these are the things that tried and tested. I know that this will work. I will go for it. And the similar kind of things that okay, I see that customers are asking, hey, show me the success stories. I want to replicate it because low cost and everything. They want to move fast and so on and so forth. So I believe that okay, those are the few things. Google as a multinational, I believe that okay, yes, we are expanding a lot in India. It's a US based company, right? So a lot of management, majority of the stakeholders. Sundar, like again NRO, but still he sits in US. Like he's a US citizen now. So majority of the decisions are being driven from there. So yeah, we are decentralizing those kind of decision making. So that's make a difference. So because of the time zone difference, even if you need to make a decision, you need to wait for a 1 or 2 days. But in US, those decisions can happen in minutes. So I have felt that, I have seen that. So that's the difference, I should say.
Got it. So I think I've been conducting a lot of webinars, and one of the common or most important thing that comes out again and again is the importance of tech in every business and the future of AI. That people are asking continuously, and they know that it is there, but they don't know what it is. So today, because you are here amongst us, really want to understand how AI works and how it solves problems and issues of top companies. So maybe getting a bit into that zone, so just understanding the basics. What is an AI according to you? And where does the journey of an AI head start from?
Interesting. So the thing is, AI is not a new concept. I think recent marketing and all those courses made it as an interesting concept. Neural network came back in even before I born, back in 1980s, right? So it's there for a long time. Yeah, definitely. Given the computing power, cloud business came into the picture. AI started getting a lot of heat. For me, AI is very simple. It's pure mathematics. Like in our childhood, we used to learn about y is equals to mx plus c, right? It's a line of an like equation of a line. That's AI to me. Okay, so based on how you behaved in the past, we expect that okay, you are going to behave similarly into the future. That's AI to me. That's exactly what you're predicting. That's a human behavior, right? That's why people say that okay, habit doesn't change very easily. That's AI to me. So right, so yeah, definitely that's how people started thinking about that. Okay, the volume is going up. Talk about Twitter, Facebook, Google, billions of users. Talk about like in India, talk about Mod, ShareChat, Meesho, Flipkart, like billions of users we're talking about. So to there's no silver bullet around it. Nobody can actually solve that problem, but you can derive some patterns that okay, hey, these kind of users are behaving these kind of things, these kind of a product that they are likely to buy, right? It's a very simple thing. For example, when we used to go to a shop in our childhood, right? Our uncle told to say that, okay, hey, you're buying bread, do you need butter as well? That's AI. That point of a time, it was human telling you that, okay, do you need that? These days, it's an algorithm that's telling you that, okay, would you like to buy this thing or not? Right? So that's the kind of a scale, because now you cannot have like a billions of uncles telling you all the people, right? So you need some automation. That's AI to me. So people have started realizing what's the potential that we can solve. The two biggest challenge I see, the first thing is understanding the technology, that what we can actually solve, what are the problems that we can actually solve, and the second thing is the limitations of the technology, what we cannot solve, how this technology cannot do anything. I think those are the two critical things that businesses are still struggling with. That yes, they think that okay, yes, AI can solve all the problems of my life. No, it can't happen.
And coming to the second question, if I had to understand the career trajectory of AI head, so where does it start from?
Um, I don't know, like names for that thing. I never targeted this kind of a thing. It eventually happened. I started like as a data analyst and data scientist, working on those things. Then moved to US, started solving for these kind of a problems again, because of the impact that I created, because of what I should say, the problems that I solved, because of the exposure that I got. I started getting like those kind of an opportunities. I got lucky to get those kind of large projects. And when I reached to a stage, I think that okay, no, this is time to go back to India. I discussed this thing with my bosses that okay, hey, like I want to go back to India. What do you think? I said that okay, yes, if that's the thing, we do not have any presence in India. Why don't you build a team in India itself from scratch? Okay, yeah, that's a good thing. I don't know. That point of a time, we never had any presence, no work, nothing. So we thought that okay, yes, India is a growing market. Let's do it. Let's start implementing it. And that's how like I came back to India, started building this team, and this head attached to my title automatically. That okay, yes, you are heading this AI India team. That okay, yeah, okay, cool, perfect. Eventually, we started getting a lot of traction. India is evolving very fast. We got like a lot of really good projects. Then I like enhanced and increased my team, started getting a lot of impact. We become like almost a central team to deliver these kind of critical services in cloud. So that eventually happened. It was not a plan, but it eventually happened. So the few things what I should say, Sunani, I just kept working. The first thing is I never left my technical skills. Even today, I am heavily involved in system design, sometimes in coding as well. I still take all those online courses, technical courses, and everything. And the second thing is about be very realistic. What are the problems that you can solve, and what's the business impact that you can create? So that's my top filter. If you are not creating any business impact or like some societal like a societal impact, I don't think that okay, that's a problem to solve.
So AI is a very like next level thing. What I want to understand and come back to is data and
Yes.
how data is used and then AI happens and then how it solves issues. So just starting from the basics, I am a layman here. Obviously, I don't know anything about this. So if I had to say how do people collect data, then how do people analyze it and then make an algorithm or something like y is equals to mx plus c to make it an algorithm and then create solve issues or problems. So can you just explain the whole sequence of things that happens?
That's exactly, Sunil. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what's happening. Okay, so for an example, you say that okay, data. A lot of organizations, a lot of companies does not even collecting the data. That's the
Hmm.
biggest challenge. They don't even know where the data is. Okay, so sometimes what happens? They came up that okay, hey, we want to solve this problem. Then we recommend that okay, go and start collecting this kind of data. Then they start collecting that data, and then all the all the things that started realizing. So it can be a two-way process. And either can be like a bottom up, you have the data, you start analyzing that data, start generating some insights and build some algorithm on top of it. Or it can be top down. You say that, okay, hey, I want to solve this problem. I'm not getting this insight. I need this decision to make on the business side. How can I do that? What kind of a data shall I collect? And then you go back and start
But
collecting the
how do
data.
we collect the data?
Yeah, so in that case, for example, Smani, whatever happens, for example, if you're buying something, okay, so it actually depends at what depth you want to go. So for example, you are logging into an e-commerce site. The first data that you're providing to that company or to that website is your login, your credentials, your password, from where you're logging in, if your location is on, and when you have created your account, you have added some information like your age, your gender, where you belong to, which city, some security questions, which city that you are born in, which country that you belong to, your contact number, and few other things. That's like a basic data that you have already given, right? After that, you log in and you start browsing some things. That's how the data start collecting. So for an example, if what are the terms that you're searching? Hey, I search for an example, men's shoes. Okay, so the men's shoes is the thing that you're searching for. So then you're talking about that. Okay, hey, shoes. Shoes is the thing. Then you're browsing what kind of a shoes that you're talking about, which colors, right? Which are the shoe that you're actually clicking? Are you clicking on a brand, or are you clicking on a color? Are you clicking on a size, or are you clicking on a pattern? Okay, based on that, if you're adding that shoe into a cart or not. Okay, so for an example, what you did, you start searching. That's the first data, search content. Then you're talking about that, okay, hey, you clicked on it. That's an add to click. Then you're talking about seat like add to cart, that is ATC. And finally, if you're purchasing it or not, that's a through rate. So that's the core kind of a data that you're selecting. Now, for an example, the problem that I'm solving is what kind of a products that I should pitch you. Okay, so based on your these kind of a search history, based on what kind of activity that you went through, I can say that, okay, hey, if you are, for an example, always you clicked on a red shoe. Okay, for the next time when you start searching for it, I will provide you the top 5 options of the red shoes. Okay, and if I want to like explore something, that's a new technology coming in. We are calling it as a reinforcement learning. If you want to explore new things, I will push, like for an example, a pink or like a magenta shoe or a salmon shoe in between, so that I can see your reaction, that if you're clicking on that thing or not. That's exactly how the data is getting collected. So the first step is that, okay, you can analyze the data. Hey, as a Sunani, like as a Nitin, this is the kind of a behavior. This is like, for an example, for me, I don't buy a lot. So for me, say that, okay, hey, this is like a low customer value because this person is not buying a lot, frequency is a lot, and the monetary value is very, very less. But for my wife, is that, okay, it's a high value customer because she's buying a lot, because she's buying for my, like for me as well. So for that, you start categorizing thing and so on and so forth. That's exactly the journey starts.
But I understand this, and I know you are in Google, so obviously you collect data this way only. But what about startups? What about if I am starting a business and I don't know where to collect data from? So where do we collect data?
It's the same thing. It actually depends on me how you want to proceed. For an example, there are multiple ways. You start getting the data from some of the aggregators. You can buy the data. For an example, if you're, it depends what kind of a company that you're starting with. So you can actually buy the data. Nielsen and everybody, they sell the data. Some other places you can actually buy the data. Or what you can say that, okay, hey, I need only my data. So we work with a lot of startups. They build their own website. They build their app, and based on that app, they can start tracking all those kind of a user behavior. So it takes time to build. It's a, what I should say, it's a catch-22 situation. So for example, if you do not have any data, the customer experience or user experience is very bad, right? But you cannot have any data because you don't have any users. So there are multiple ways that people do that. Like some people buy the data to provide something. Some people will start with some rules that, okay, hey, add these kind of things based on your interaction, even like a one-on-two interaction. They start building manual rules, and eventually the more data comes in, they can start solving those problems. So yeah, it's an interesting problem how you collect the data depending upon what's your digital footprint and how you want to proceed.
Got it. So now that, okay, whatever business it is, we have collected the data. How do
Exactly.
we filter the data? Because you said that you were introduced to big data, and I have seen some files of big data. It is huge. It is very difficult to operate with. It has so many columns and rows, so it's very difficult to filter. So how do you do that after that?
So that's the thing, Sonali. There are two things, like I mentioned, about top up, like top down and bottoms up. So first you need to define what are you looking for. If you have a lot of data, for an example, as an inside IIM, my question is what kind of a people are reaching out to me? Okay, that's the first question. For an example, I'm asking that. And the second thing is, what are their attention span? Like,
Mm,
are they reading articles continuously? Or if they are reading certain articles continuously, how
mm,
much time that they're continuously spending, and so on and so forth. First, you need to define what you're trying to solve, and then go back and filter your data accordingly. Now, what are you looking for? For an example, what kind of an articles? What's the time? My login time and logout time. So now you can actually ignore rest of them. Okay, so now you realize that, okay, your first answer is, for an example, 20% of the people, they are spending 3 hours of their day to read my content. Now the second question comes up is, what kind of a people they are, right? Now
mm,
you need to start sifting the data. For an example, hey, these people belong to these age ranges, these locations, these kind of an academic or a educational background, and so on and so forth. Now people will start asking what kind of a content that they are reading. So then you need to like start sifting the data differently, that these are the articles, they belong to education, they belong to sports, they belong to this, and these are the authors who are writing it. That's your brand value. Now you say that, okay, hey, what kind of, the question that you started asking, what kind of a content that you should push or pitch to your customers, to your readers, and what kind of an ideas that you can actually pitch to your creators, that yes, you should start writing on these things. Those are the different questions, and that requires different kind of data filtering. So instead of go blind, that okay,
mm.
hey,
Yeah.
just give me the data and we can process that thing, that might not be a very good approach. I will say start with a business problem, what you want to solve, why you want to solve, and then start building that thing. It will help you really crystallize a lot of your thoughts and really help you to parse the data efficiently.
Got it. So now, if I'm sitting on the opposite side and I'm actually filtering data and all these things, so
Mhm.
what are some of the skills that I require? Maybe in terms of tools or anything, analytical skills. What are the skills?
A lot of tools are there, Sunami. It actually depends. A lot of people have like a different things. So uh, a lot of like I see a lot of content on LinkedIn. Hey, this is the best. This is that best. For
Mm,
me, again, these are my personal choices. I personally believe in SQL, structured query language. Okay,
mm,
very easy to implement. So you push it actually depends what kind of a data that you have again. For an example, if you have a structured data, when I say structured data, it means it's a tabular format. I
okay.
say name, Nitin, okay, age this much, date of birth this, and blah blah. This is structured data. Okay, for that you can actually use SQL structured query language. Okay, so for that thing we are learning SQL for a pretty long time. It's a very stable tool. Data warehouses are really good. So you need a data warehouse where the data is being stored. For example, BigQuery, or it can be like an Azure or like a SQL Server or anything else. So
Mm,
you need like a data warehouse, and then you need like a SQL to process the data and generate the insights out of it. If you are processing some sort of an unstructured data means that cannot be fit into a tabular format. For an example, your videos, images,
mm,
text, those kind of a thing. For that, you need to like, there are multiple languages available. My favorite is Python because of scalability and few other things. But people use Java, people use R, a lot of other frameworks. They use Golang as well, and other things. So in that case, you can use that programming language to process the data and generate insights out.
okay. Got it. So as a role, in terms of a role, career path as in, so
Mhm.
we have a difference between data analyst versus data scientist or machine learning. So how do people proceed with these things? Like, first of all, what does a data scientist do compared to a data analyst, and how do we go up the rank?
Interesting, yeah. So the thing is, Sunani, it's not like a rank. I believe that okay, primarily in India, I think a lot of other places, we have created a tier. Like, hey, data analyst, it's like a low quality job. Data scientist, it's like
Yeah.
better than the data analyst, and so on and so forth. So people who are creating ML models, they are the best. That's not the reality. In my experience, data analysts are the one who are generating the maximum value to the business. That's my analysis and my experience. So when you say that, okay, for example, you started working on the data, okay, you are creating any dashboard, you're generating the knowledge out of it. I will say that, okay, hey, what's my revenue that I actually got last year? How much revenue that I'm getting from what kind of a customers that I'm getting those kind of revenues? What kind of customers were actually buying those things? Okay, and what are the advertisers advertising on my website, and so on and so forth. If you need those sort of analysis, that will be done by the data analyst. Okay, on top of it, they will be building a dashboard like a BI tool, like Tableau or a ClickView or Excel or whatever it will be. So sometimes people call that, okay, they are the BI analyst, but I pull them into the same bucket, data analyst and BI analyst. Once you have those kind of a things, now you need to analyze that, okay, yes, can I predict something? Okay, this is the descriptive analytics. Can I actually predict something? For an example, can I say that, hey, this particular customer will churn out 6 months down the line? Okay, so for that you need a what I should say a predictive model. That model will be actually created by the data scientists. So they will be writing those statistical models or various ML models as well sometimes. So they will be creating that model. Now the third piece coming into the picture, how that particular model can be moved into production. Okay, because you need to solve that problem at scale. That model needs to be called every second for more than 100,000 customers. So how to move that thing, that comes to a point, you can call it as like an ML ops engineer or DevOps engineer, sometimes ML engineer or AI engineers as well. So that's why the line between data scientist and I believe the ML engineer starts getting blurred, that who is building the algorithms. Majority of the time data scientists are doing the research work, like for example they're building algorithms, solving problems using statistics, and ML engineers will be using deep learning and machine learning as a technology to build algorithms. So that's how the things looks like in this, like what I should say, the value chain. Each and everybody is generating different kind of value, and you cannot compare it. But if you go and check the compensation structure, that's different. I believe that okay, that might be the top reason that people select one field versus another field.
Understood. So again, just wanted to understand, okay, data collection, everything, we got the sequence. Now maybe get a real life example and see how we collected the data from there, how we filtered it, and how we solved a problem. So can you just give us
Okay.
that?
Mhm. Okay. Okay, I can give you an example. Okay, and this is a very common use case in retail. And when you talk about like customer lifetime value prediction, so that's like for an example, as an individual, each and every organization cannot target all the customers. So they actually create categories. What are the top value customers, medium value customer, low value customer, so that they can build their marketing strategies or business strategies around them. So in that case, in just like the same thing, very simple, you are saying that okay, hey, I am a user and you are collecting my data. What's the data that you're collecting? You're collecting only two data points, the date and the value of the product that I purchased. That's it. Today, like for an example, last week I purchased 100 rupees. After 2 days, I purchased 200 rupees, then 300, then 50, and then 100, and so on and so forth. That's it. Okay. You are processing that data. In that thing, you will be just cleaning up the data. Cleaning up the data means you are only selecting the people who are currently live and as well as who are already left. Okay. You check that if the dates are in the same ranges. The date should not be like 32 February 2022, something like that. You will be cleaning up the data. Amount should be reasonable. Amount cannot be like, for an example, 100,000, $200,000 when the highest ticket price of your item is 10 rupees or 20 rupees, right? So it cannot. So you will be cleaning up that data. Then you will be analyzing that, okay, yes, what's the average sales value? On a customer, what's the various ranges? So we call it as a box plot. You plot that, okay, for an example, these many customers are in the range of 300 to 400 rupees till now, till their lifetime. Okay, these, like for example, 10% of the customers are in a range of 400 to 1000 rupees, 5% of the customer like in 100 1000 to 2000, and only 1% is more than 5000. And that's how you build it. Okay, so these are the analytics that you get. You got that, okay, hey, these are the customer, this is how you're, this is the data analytics. Now you want to predict for each and every customer how you want to target it based on their customer lifetime value. So you need to predict that, okay, yes, when this particular customer will churn, or how much value this generate. So for that, you will be building a time series model because you have a data for time and the value that you have generated. So you will be actually predicting the time series. Some models you can say survival analysis, for an example, till what point of a time this customer will survive, and so on and so forth. And then you identify that, okay, these 5% of the customer, they will be generating 50,000 rupees of the value in next 6 months. So you will be started giving them more offers so that they will start spending more. You will be personalizing those benefits. Create, for an example, Uber created Uber Black or something like that. Those kind of a tiers. Join the membership and you will be getting these kind of benefits. That's how you start categorizing them. So that's like a simple problem scenario. Now you can just expand the problem workspace. Now you start collecting the data, not just date and value. What are the products you are buying? What's the quantity you are buying? All those kind of things, and the complexity maybe.
Now, I just want to go and shift to a different angle and say, how can we use AI in marketing?
Mhm. There, there are a lot of cases like in the marketing. What we have solved, or I think what I see that okay, our customers are solving, a lot of people are solving. Some of them, for example, one is the customer lifetime value. That's one of the top things. Second one is about targeted marketing. What kind of people that you should be targeting? For an example, if you're sending an email, if you're sending a newsletter, each and everything will cost you, even if it's like a 10 paisa, right? But if you multiply it by, for example, 1 million users, the cost is high. So you need to determine that, okay, if you're sending these kind of promotional material and everything, if you're cold calling, what's the probability that, okay, this customer will be actually converting into my real customer? That's the conversion rates. Okay, so that's a targeted marketing. That's another thing. One very interesting use case that I found, that, okay, in the marketing itself, that at what places I should put my banner. So one like a very interesting problem. So we're getting like a drone images based on that, that okay, hey, this is the place, this is the highway where I should put my banner on. This is the size, how much I views or views that I will be getting. So based on the population density, based on what place it is, based on predicting so many things, you can determine this is the right place or no, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of like those kind of marketing use cases, but primarily I will say that, okay, marketing is still learning on marketing analytics to generating those kind of a value, Porter's 5 forces and so on and so forth, like determining that, okay, yes, any competition business strategies. So, but there are a lot of use cases in AI itself that you can solve.
Got it. So maybe the next question will be, can you give us a futuristic example where AI can be used, but it's not feasible as of yet?
Interesting. Okay. A lot of use cases, I will say, Sunani, I will not say it's feasible, but the question is nobody has tested its feasibility. And we got to know about these problems recently as well. Um, if you want to automate your business strategy, okay. So for an example, if you want to ask anything, what kind of a product that I should launch next, how should I launch so that it will be a success? So you're talking about that, okay, hey, what kind of a film that I should make? What should be its content so that it will be a blockbuster? So those kind of, what I should say, the intuitional thing that you say that, yes, it's my intuition. Can I quantify that intuition so that I will be able to build something around it? We got some limited success around it, but how can we actually make those kind of business strategy decision making automated using machine learning? I believe that's a very fun use case that actually got my attention for last few couple of years. When I got back in 2019, I got this use case for the first time. So that's going to be the, I will say that, okay, the futuristic thing. And the second thing, Sunandi, I will put my money is on, it's like generalized AI. We call it as like artificial general intelligence, so that you create a chatbot and it can tell you everything. So consider that it's a guru. So yeah, Google Home and everything, it has a lot of those capabilities, but that has been trained on specific data. I will say that, okay, no, forget about anything. I trained a model and it can do everything for you. So I'm creating a robot and it cannot just lift the thing. But if you say that, okay, can you dance? It can dance as well. And nobody has tell them to dance. It's just like humans, right? If somebody doesn't know how to dance, but even if you tell that, oh, can you dance? You can see some moves here and there. So that's the thing. I believe that, okay, those are the two things. They are not feasible right now. But the way the technology is evolving, I'm very confident that we will be able to, yeah, solve some of those problems.
Okay, and now getting a bit specific on India, maybe. So,
Yeah.
how can we compare the implementation of AI tech in India compared to that in USA? Maybe there are some restrictions because of population or something.
No, I believe that, okay, India has a very golden chances. Implementing AI in US is comparatively challenging because of the compliance and regulations. For an
Oh.
example, if you're building any models in the financial services, if you're building any model primarily on healthcare, the regulations are very strict. In
Hmm.
India, the regulations are a little bit relaxed. The second thing is the volume. That, okay, yes, the volume of the data that you can actually generate in India, it's huge, but that comes with its own challenges because India is a very diverse country. Okay, so the data that you will be getting is in Hindi, English, Bengali, Kannada, all the languages mixed together. In US, it will be like very standardized English languages.
Hmm.
So that's why you will see a lot of algorithms and a lot of solutions that has been developed. It's only targeted to that one particular language because of the data. Now
Hmm.
things are coming up. IIT Madras start working on NLP based system for India, so that yes, it is being trained on Hindi. So that's like another thing. So yeah, definitely things are different. In few places, it's very challenging in US because of the regulations and compliance. But like on the budget side, because of the obvious reasons, it's very constrained in India.
Hmm.
So like the experimentations that you can do, the research that you can do, the budgets are very, very high in US. So that people are not very restricted that, okay, yes, I have to run only these 4 experiments. They can run 40s of those experiments. In India, you have to be very, very creative on your approach, very, very theoretical and very, very practical that, okay, yes, out of these 40, I can only run four, which four that you want to run.
Hmm.
So yeah, it comes up with like a different approach as well. You will be very, very thorough about your work before running an experimentation, but it comes with its own limitations as well, because you cannot run everything. You might be losing a lot of ground. So both of these two nations, I believe that, okay, yes, it's moving in the right path, but both have their own challenges and strong values.
So obviously the elephant in the room is that India has a great population, and as you said, AI is almost replacing humans. So how harmful is it for the majority population here in India, where it is replacing humans, especially the humans who don't have much skills, where you can easily replace them?
That's a challenge. I think the second point of your problem, Sunani, that's a challenge. It's the skills. In
Hmm.
my life, I have not seen a single technology that replaced humans. Okay, when computers came in, people said that, okay, computers will reduce the jobs. Now, if you see, the number of jobs are almost 1,000 times in the
Hmm.
past. Skills has changed. I have never seen that, okay, and I don't know how many people will like it or not. I have never seen any AI system that has reduced the jobs. It has changed the jobs. Okay, people say that, okay, yes, we will implement this AI system, it will reduce my human cost. I said, are you sure? I'm pretty sure that, okay, the people that you need to manage this system, the people that you will need to make improvement the system will be way larger than what you're getting right now. The point is the value will be increased. For an example, if you are going to a bank and your KYC verification will take 1 week, now that can be done within 30 seconds. But
Hmm.
to build that thing, you need people. The skills will change. So if you cannot evolve, if you cannot build the skills, it will take your job for sure. But that can happen with everything. Then you can say that, okay, hey, stop using microwave. Okay, stop using cars
Hmm.
because it has taken away your job, right? But you need to evolve because, for an example, previously we used to call that hath gadi. That, okay, yes, people used to take it on the ground. Now you can become a driver. So I'm not comparing things, but it's just like that. Okay, yes, you need to keep evolving your skills. That's going to happen. And with AI, the same thing is happening. You need to understand that, yes, how the computer and human interface is working, and how you can evolve your skills. So if you ask me if jobs are going, I don't think that. Okay, I believe a lot of jobs are coming. So a lot of jobs will be generated, and that's why if you search LinkedIn AI, you'll find that more than like 5 lakh jobs available, but we don't
Hmm.
have people for that, right? Now, if you say that, okay, yes, AI has taken away the jobs, data is not supporting it. But if AI has evolved the jobs, yes, for sure.
Got it. So yeah, I just got a question in my mind. So you said you gave an example of a robot which might exist someday, where if you say him, tell him, ask him to dance, he'll dance without even knowing, without having a history of knowledge about this. So regarding that, if suppose a human being just tells a robot, go and slap someone,
Mhm.
and he slaps that person, and now that person is complaining that, how dare you slap me? So
Mhm.
the accountability of this issue goes to the robot now. That how dare the robot slapped. But
Mhm.
point is the human told the robot, but the human is like, मैं तो बोलता कुएं में कूद जा तो कूद जाएगा क्या? That is the question that we have. So
I can
so
put a
the
background. Yes.
general thing is, how will AI affect the accountability of a human being?
Interesting. That's how Chitty failed in his test as well in the board. So, so the accountability is a big thing. So I think if you can, I don't see AI in a silo. Sonali. The thing is that, okay, unfortunately, Cyrus Misty died recently, right?
Hmm.
Whose fault it is?
Hmm.
Is it like a human fault because he was not like buckled up in the rear seat belt? Is that his fault, or is that the Mercedes fault because that, okay, it's never opened up the airbags, or
Hmm.
it's like the road fault because the road structure was not right, right? So in the same thing that, okay, yes, the accountability needs to be set. That, okay, yes, but definitely there is an ecosystem who is responsible for it. Microsoft did an amazing job to launch a chatbot, and they said that, okay, it will be learning what the people will be teaching. What happened? The things that robot learned, it was pathetic, right? It started
Yeah.
blaming or cursing certain individuals or certain community, right? But Microsoft never did that. Who did that? People did that. We want the technology unbiased, but as a human, we are biased. And that's the dilemma, and that's the irony. So if we say that, okay, yes, yeah, definitely, we need to set the accountability. We need to set the frameworks that who will be accountable for it. But we need to set that thing holistically. People are saying that, okay, hey, with driverless cars, who will be responsible for the accidents? Currently, who are responsible for the accidents as a humans? I
Hmm.
believe that, okay, yes, even if we will be able to reduce the overall number of accidents by 50%, that will be a big win for us. But definitely, this these we do not need to like simplify this particular. This is a very very large problem. We're talking about responsible AI. We're talking about, bless you. We're talking about that, yes, how to put the accountability. Nobody has answer for that. We as a humans, we need to set together and we need to finalize that, okay, yes, who should be accountable for it. So yes.
Got it. So, yeah, so I guess we'll be done with my questions here. Just moving forward to Q&A, whatever questions I have. I think there are many questions for you, Nitin. So we'll go ahead with that. But before we start that, I just wanted to say one thing. So you said that you actually applied for 630 jobs in the
Yes.
last 5 years. So,
No, no, not just 5 years. I will say that, okay, I think it's I cannot disclose that number for last 5 years. People will be crazy. But when I started my career, like starting from 2011 to 20, I ran this analysis a couple of years back, 2020. So in the last 10 years, those were the unique companies that applied for across the time. So I believe that, okay, peaks will be there in 2011, 2015 when I was graduating to find the jobs. Yes.
got it. So on that note, I just want to have to clear this out. We have a channel known as Club Alchemy, where we actually post in jobs for people who are watching us right now, or whoever is there who want different kinds of jobs from HULD, Cathalon, or any other community or CXO level people that we have in our channel right now. So you guys can also see there, and you can in any case if we can help you in any way. So just try it out. So moving forward to the Q&A. So the first question we have is, which are the best fields to explore in tech for the next 2 decades?
And how will you define field? I will say, if you ask me, AI is the future going ahead because that's my field. I can see that the way is evolving. If we talk about the industry verticals, I believe healthcare has a huge potential. We are actually solving a lot of problems over there, a lot of challenges that we are actually getting. And the second one is the media entertainment. So if you're going to put, I'm going to put my money on media entertainment. That includes gaming and the healthcare. These are the top verticals that I will suggest that will be totally disrupted by AI. So I will say that, yes.
And is gaming healthy?
Gaming is good. It actually depends. I own PS5. I play games. It actually depends how you're playing. So some games like Blue Whale or something like that that actually started making some noise around some bad target audience, primarily kids. So it actually depends that, okay, yes, how you want to play, what kind of a games you want to play. I cannot generalize things, but I love gamings. I believe gaming is good.
I understand. Next, we have, which are the best non-tech job roles in tech?
Oh, nice. There are a lot of non-tech jobs in tech. I believe that, okay, the target is about that what kind of roles exist in Google. There are a lot of non-tech roles. So program management can be one of them to lead like a large program. Eventually, you can build up your skills and move up into a technical program management. Business analyst might be like that kind of a role where you will be adding a lot of business value. Financials analyst, those kind of a things. I will not say that, okay, it's not tech, but it's more on accounting. It's more on financial analysis. That might be like another role. Transformation lead, so that if you can actually build a strategy that how to lead a transformation across organization, that might be like another role. So there are a lot of roles that you can actually target based on your skill sets in tech. But I will strongly recommend that start learning some tech. Even I can give you like a very practical example. My wife is a chartered accountant. She never thought that, okay, she need to learn about data and SQL, structured query language. But a lot of roles that you will find, even in the accounting, people will start saying, do you have data analysis skill? So I will suggest that, okay, yes, tech will touch each and every non-tech role as well. So it's good to have some exposure. I'm not saying to be an expert, but good to have some exposure.
Got it. Next is, what is the proportion of application of mathematics in the analytics field?
It's a lot. It's a lot. So like from day one, you will be doing that thing. People are saying that, okay, run this algorithm and everything, build those things. It won't work out, because if you will be succeeding till the point you're getting a success. Think about what happened to Zillow, right? They built an algorithm, it never worked out, because I believe that their team must have done a lot of due diligence, but something might have missed. So whatever you're building, whatever things that you are actually running, what any models that you're training, be very, very careful that, okay, yes, how are you running and what's the mathematics behind it. So don't get swayed about any people, hey, don't learn about mathematics and statistics. Learn it. You do not need to learn it from day one, but eventually you have to learn it. Without that, you are crippled running or into this particular business or in this particular tech. So yeah, it's a must.
Next is, based on your problem solving and management experience, what are the fundamental things that need to be clear for solving the problem and making a decision?
Interesting. So the first thing is about that. Okay, what's the problem? Like what I think very case in point, Sunandani, just about that. Okay, yes, what I'm solving. First, you need to define that what kind of an answers that you're looking out for. Do not build a system that, okay, hey, you have an answer, now you're looking for a question. First get a question and then get an answer. That's the first thing. And that will start defining that, okay, based on that particular problem, how you want to solve, that will start evolving. So I always say that, okay, how is an important part, but what is the most important part? So first you need to define, and that will be coming from the experience itself. What kind of problem that you have solved? Be very, very, what I should say, aware of your surroundings, because a lot of problems that you will be actually facing in your real life problems. So how you define that thing based on that experience, based on that management, you need to define whether it's a good decision to make or not. A lot of the times you will see that, okay, the data is saying a lot many things, but few leaders want to go with an intuition. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but decision making is always a double-edged sword. You cannot say that, okay, this is a bad decision. No decision was bad the time it was made. It became a bad in retrospective. That's my experience, right? So in that case, based on the trade-off that, yes, what's the business value? What are you actually trying to achieve? What's the target metric that you have defined even before starting solving the problem will determine how you're going to make a decision. It's the dollar value, is the money it's important, it's the impact that's important, it's the customer experience that's important, or what are you targeting? And based on that, you decide how you want to proceed.
And after so many years of your own experience, does that ever come to you that instead of looking at the data again and doing the same thing, your intuition is playing out?
It happens, Nami, but sometimes your intuition fool you, because your intuitions, I believe that are always biased. So even in that case, I tried that thing. Sometimes I got succeeded a couple of times. I failed badly a few times, but I believe that, okay, it's always good to trust the data. Even if you have some intuitions, first get the data, verify it, and only then proceed. So that will be my thing. Yeah, intuitions are very, very important for business. A lot of the business decisions are made by intuitions, but it's always good to be backed by the data instead of other way around. That is, I want to do this, now support it with the data. So that's another fun.
Got it. How is a product manager role in tech?
It's a good role. I don't think that, like, I think people market it a lot as like a CEO of something and blah blah blah. It's a very tough role, product manager, because you will be working with legal, marketing, engineering, sales, everything. So it's like a highly cross-functional role. I believe that, okay, that's actually causing it's a highly stressful job as well. A lot of the times, because you are actually responsible for the success and the failure. I usually say that, okay, yes, if it's a product, is a success, it's engineering who built it. If it's a failure, it's a product manager who never had a good vision. So that's exactly what I have seen in the past. So product manager, it's like that role is evolving. I believe Sundar actually marketed that a lot, because he joined as a product manager, become CEO of a company. So it looks like that, okay, yes, a lot of those kind of factors turned in, but a lot of other roles that are coming out as very, very important, as very, very similar to product managers, things will change in future as well. So it actually depends what you want to do, what kind of a skills that you carry. So product manager, it's a very strong role, it's a very good role, but only get into that role if you are interested, if you are fully motivated. Otherwise, you will be frustrated.
Next is, what are some future trends in the field of data science? Since a lot of problems have already been solved by big tech companies.
It's not like that, trust me. Even if you talk about that, okay, hey, give me a forecasting, that problem has not been solved. I told you Zillow as an example. You can say that, okay, forecasting problem has solved, but they faced a, go and ask them if that problem has solved or not. So the thing is, I don't see that, okay, data as the space itself, it's a very probabilistic in nature. It's not like building a website. I don't see that okay, big tech has solved some of the platform related problem, not like the core problems. If you talk about that, what's the trends? I can see four trends. The first thing is about getting a lot of problems on the vision AI, primarily our computer vision, that how you can actually process videos, drone images, and those kind of things. Second trend will be primarily getting a large language models, how you can actually utilize the large language models. For example, GPT-3 from OpenAI, or PAM from Google, or Alexa TM from recently published by Alexa, something similar by Azure, and so on and so forth. The third thing that I will see that okay, hey, the kind of a services that has already been created by some big tech, like Google launched their natural language vision API, those kind of a things. How can I just directly take it and add it as a part of my system to solve that particular problem? And the fourth thing that I believe that will be evolving is more on the research that will be very, very focused on your own company without taking any help from any big tech or anything else. Definitely, you will be using some base framework, some platform, but those are very customized to your problem statements.
Got it. So the next question is, I'm just going to rephrase this question. It's a bit personal written. So they're saying that they hate coding. So want to roll in tech, want to update themselves in tech, but not using coding. So how
And then
do
that's fine. It actually depends on okay how you define a code, right? So SQL is a code. People say SQL is not a code. So you need to define that okay, hey, what's coding for you, and what are the major parameters that you want to go. Nobody expect that okay, if you're working on a big tech, you will be coding. No, that's not the expectations. For example, if more like on a thought leadership side, for example, product manager, you find a lot of product managers coming from the non-tech. Forget about the coding; they don't even like aware of the computer science, but they are a very very successful product managers. So you cannot say that okay, you need coding to be a successful, right? So product manager, program manager, technical program managers, thought leadership around that thing, sales. Then we're talking about business analyst. A lot of those roles coming out as like a non-coding background, but still more on the technical background. That yes. So if you are comfortable with system design, if you're comfortable with architecting things, that might be another thing. So it actually defines that okay, yes, how you define a coding and which way you want to go. But my simple experience is if you're coming to tech company, you should be comfortable with tech. Otherwise, what's the point of coming to tech? So
got it? So the next is, what do you think about studying MBA in business analytics from IIMs? Will it help me get any job in AI field?
I don't know. So I don't know. So I don't think that okay, I'm the right guy. I don't have any degree from IIMs. So I never got Google just after my MBA degree from IIT. But definitely IIT tag really helps. But in my team, I don't think I have any IIT. No. In my team, I don't have any IITs.
Oh,
So yeah, so it happens. Even my sister team, I have like a couple of IITs too. But I have a very, 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 very close friends are IITs. Very, very good, very, very hardworking guys. So I don't see that okay, yes, IIT, it can actually take you some to a certain point. I personally believe that okay, once you're out of that particular zone, it's only about you and your skills. There are a lot of platforms that you can actually take help from to gain those things. So if you're getting a good campus placement from IM, then yeah, go for it. If you think that companies are coming over there and they will be getting the right opportunity, then yeah, go for it. But otherwise, I will say that okay, you will find a ample course material free of cost on YouTube, on Udemy, Udacity, Coursera, that will giving you more practical experience, more real life experience than like in a typical formal settings.
got it. So we have a person here who is a product manager, and he's asking that if he should go for product management, like stay in product management, or go for data science. And he's from a tech background, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
that's interesting. So it's your call that okay, if you're a product manager, if you're loving that particular fit, why not be a product manager like for a data science product, like for an
mm,
AI product? That might be a good option. But if you say that okay, no, Nathan, I'm getting bored. I have seen a lot of people who actually transition from PM to a technical role where you will be actually writing codes and everything into data science, building algorithms, solving problems. Yeah, you can do that. But the thing is, in each of those fields, be ready to take a hit on your career. Don't expect that okay, the seniority level that you are at, you will be getting the similar seniority level into a new role. So that I have hardly seen that. I have seen a couple of people, but the proportion is very, very small. So if you're ready to take that hit, it's your call. I don't see that okay, people say that okay, can I be the data scientist? I will say that okay, yes, anybody into the world is a data scientist. We as a human, we are doing the data science for a pretty long time. We are doing the calculation. Hey, shall I buy this product now or 2 months down the line when it will be cheaper? The summer sales or Diwali sales will come into the picture, right? So all of us are data scientists. So there's no good or bad time you can be, but you need to select which way you want to go.
Got it. So the next is you did your MBA, a technical MBA basically. So can we just state it as MBA in data science? Can we?
No, I will not say like an MBA data science because that will be too generalist. I don't see MBA cannot be done in data science. That's my stance.
Okay.
So I got some courses on analytics. I got some courses on statistics, data mining, but my specialization was operations management. So I did like all the operations management courses. So
Got
yeah, data science was just a small part of it.
Understood. So the next question is what kind of role Google offers for MBA freshers?
It actually depends. Google offers roles across. So Google offers roles in sales. Google offers roles in account management. In a lot of my friends, they came from the IIMs. A lot of IIM Kozhikode, Indore, and Ahmedabad as well. They joined account management team on AdWords side, like
Hmm.
helping the customers over there. I don't think that okay, Google has a roles for APM, Associate Product Manager in India,
Hmm.
but Google offers that role as well in US, like where fresh graduates from MBA they can apply for that role to move into the product management ladder. So program management might be like another option. So there are like a number of roles available. You can go to a careers page. I'm hiring as well. So I don't care that okay, yes, if you have some good experience before MBA, because our work is very little tricky. You will be working with CXO level audience. So reach out to me and let's see that okay if we have a synergies.
That's great to know. So yeah, reach out to him if you have anything you want to contribute to Google. So the next question is, can cloud comp and AI help and be made affordable and simple to understand to use in Indian farming industry to solve various problems and help generate profitable business for individual farmers?
Yeah, you can do that. A lot of use cases what we have seen, like in agriculture, vegetation management is one of them. One of the use cases that you can actually search for that implemented by Japanese farmers to determine that okay, if that cucumber is of good quality or not. So you can do that. So there are a lot of vision applications what we have seen to automatically determining weeds, and they have used robots to remove those things. It's pretty affordable. Google is providing like a $300 of free account. I should not say this. Keep creating new account, keep getting those credits. You have to be a little bit scrapey around it. Google actually support a lot of these kind of things as a part of a CSR. You can get a lot of those credits. A lot of other tech companies, I believe Azure, IBM, and AWS is doing that thing as well. But I can say that Google is doing it because I'm very well aware of it. So yes, it's a very affordable technology. It actually depends how you want to solve. I saw a lot of problems that okay, yes, if you need to determine if this particular fruit is good or bad, I have seen like one implementation where farmers were actually implemented a vision AI to determine if a tomato is a red or a green so that they can segregate it. So a lot of those problems you can actually solve in the agriculture, primarily on the like what I should say the farmer side and as well as more on the vegetation management side as well. So I have seen a lot of use cases, successful use cases at a very low cost. You can do that. You just need to know that okay, yes, how can we solve this problem? And I'm very interested in this topic. So if you think that okay, yes, if you have some ideas, I would love to like discuss those things in person. I can give you like 30-40 minutes for sure.
Sounds great. So the last question for today is, will no code or auto ML, sorry, auto ML tools eventually replace the demand for ML engineers?
Interesting. I got a LinkedIn post around it. I got very mixed reaction. So a lot of people supported it, a lot of people did not support it. My stance is that okay, yes, auto ML will replace the data scientist. It
Hmm.
will for sure it will replace it, and it has already started replacing them. The only thing is that okay, if you're a data scientist who only like take the data, process it like by default, and then you train a model on it, AutoML can do a lot of those jobs until unless you can actually really add the value, how to process the data, what kind of a new features that you should be creating. Until unless you can actually add that kind of a business value, AutoML will replace the data scientist for sure. So if you think that okay, yes, by taking one or two courses, you can start building models and you can be very superficial about it, you will be replaced for sure in next 5 years. I will say that okay, next couple of years as well. So that will be my stance. I have already seen happening it with a lot of our customers. A lot of the organizations have done that thing, and I believe that okay, that's going to happen in future.
I know I told you this is the last question. I don't know how three people just zoomed in and they're like, no, we are asking questions.
No worries.
So we have another one. Tell us about your days at IIT Kanpur.
Fun days, man. Really fun days. I made some really what I should say lifelong friends. They are very well settled. I thoroughly enjoyed my time over there. Interesting, I never had any financial pressures because it was in my budget, fully funded by me. So it was very good. So I really enjoyed my time over there. I got really good support from my professors. So I think that's the time I really cherished. So that's the only thing. A lot of things happen, good things, bad things. That's a part of the experience, and I got to learn a lot. But IIT Kanpur actually made me independent. That yes, if it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what you carry. If you just keep working things will start falling in place. So that's the biggest learning that I got.
Got it. So the next one is can a CRM like Salesforce is a good option?
Salesforce is growing up very fast for sure. A couple of my very good friends, they are the Salesforce administrator as well. Like they have done advanced courses over there. They're adding a lot of value. So yes, Salesforce has a bright future. Salesforce recently launched their Einstein product as well that has an AI ML component on marketing side to add some more insights around it. So it's a good proposition. But again, the question comes against what? Like a good proposition versus what? So that's the biggest thing. I have seen a lot of people who built their career in Salesforce, successfully build their career in Salesforce. So yeah, it's a good proposition. Come to AI, man. Data science is the future.
Got it. One person is very interested in knowing, is there any chance of an emergence of a no-code tool which can
It's
help
already
us
happened. It's
go
already happened.
along?
It already happened that okay yes no code or low code. If you talk about like an auto ML, I can talk about like some of the components from Google Vertex AI that's already there. If you see that okay some of the products launched by Databricks that's already there. Azure AI has some of the very low code implementations where you can just drag and drop and build it. Alteryx is one of my favorite tools where you can just drag and drop and build a pipeline around it. But the biggest question comes in that okay yes whether these systems will be able to sustain when you're going to scale things up. Can they actually support millions and billions of users? Can you can actually ask a Hotstar team that okay yes will you be able to support 1 crore people watching India Pakistan match with the low code systems? That's the problem that you should be asking. For us like a smaller scale it works. For the larger scale some systems will work, but you cannot just get away from the coding and you can say that okay hey I built an end-to-end company and end-to-end product without writing a single line of a code that can cater billions of customers. I have not seen it. I would love to be wrong over here, but I have not seen it. Hopefully, that future will come very soon.
Great. I think we are done with our questions and we'll conclude here. And just the last one, personal question about what are you chasing next from this point of your life?
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what I'm chasing at the moment, Sunandi. I still have a lot of few options. One thing that I'm really excited, and I believe that okay, I want to admit that thing in public as well. When I came to India, the business, I think in these multinationals, for the Indian business, it's relatively smaller than in North America. The one thing that I'm chasing is that okay, can India be the larger market than North America? So people can call me mad that okay, yes, what are you saying? But I believe in the potential of India, the way that we are actually growing, the problem that we are solving, the scale that we are actually getting. I believe we can be the larger market than North America. So that's the one thing that I'm chasing. I don't know if I will be successful or not, but that's my dream.
Beliefs make it happen. So we also believe that and we hope that happens one day. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and for this conversation and giving us your experience and learnings. So thank you a lot, Nitin, and thank you, audience, for listening to us for more than 1 hour now. So we'll
Thanks.
see you next time and hope to have you here again if an audience needs you someday.
Absolutely. But thank you so much, Sunandi. I think it's a great
Thank you.
experience. Thank you so much for having me. But yeah,
Thank
have a
you.
good day and thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Take care.
Bye bye.